Yo, what is good? What's going on, everyone, everywhere? Welcome back to another video, man. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the video out, and all of the good stuff. If you want to support me, help watch my ads, man. I get a little kickback from YouTube if you watch that, alright? So help me help y'all, alright? If I get the kickback, then I can go and invest more into the channel, more into the community, do better giveaways. Which, speaking of giveaways, there will be one coming up real soon, so stay tuned in for that. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Put that post notification bell on and set it to all so you do get notified when I drop the next video. That video can be a giveaway. That can be first come, first serve, so definitely keep that in mind there. It's a little incentive for you to go and subscribe, man. Subscribe. No, excuse my voice, y'all. It's a little messed up right now. A little raspy. We're going to continue through and push through it, alright? So actually, by the time we're going to hop into this loadout and build here. Single target precision for water. It's actually pretty good. I ain't going to front you. You have to hold on for a second. Now, dual wield weapons always what we're going to use for single target wise. Blast adapter is the best one for you. More damage. Head mod, we're going to go ahead and use that Neo Venom boost. Supercharge, so we get 5% back. Able to spam out more Neo Venom boost. Should help us out with the later build if you stay tuned in for that. Neck, relentless precision, so the best one for you since precision based. Back, berserker is the best one for you. 10% damage increase when your health drops below 35%. Health drop below 35% quite often if you don't realize that. Normally your healers are good enough to heal you right back up. So real good right here. Especially with ads and stuff. Penetrating strikes is definitely something you want to use. It's the best one for you. It's better than the core strength. Does way more damage than core strength. So yeah, leg mod does not matter because there's nothing in there that we can use. Feet, you can use dashing combos, but if you are not super speed, use either Tumbling Master for just all around, making sure you're good, especially in that elite and elite plus content. If you want to focus on more damage though, you can use the deadly block, which use 5% of your precision to do the block counters. So, and then hands gonna be max damage. Now, if you do have a face mod socket, I recommend doing might and precision just to help you out all around the board. It actually increases your overall total damage a little bit more than just doing straight precision will, since we do have might moves that also scale with might. Now, in terms of affinity mods, you actually want to be type A and B mods. You want to be precision. I have might because I do might based loadouts and videos as well. So keep that in mind there. I can utilize might on precision, but I can't use precision on might. Let them do weapons attacks. And a lot of times for the actual sake of the video, I don't do that. So keep that in mind right there, okay, y'all? Bear with me. I'm not trying to keep spending a lot of materials and whatnot, swapping these out for precision each and every time. It's a lot of powers, okay? Type C and D mods you don't need for DPS. Those are way better for support, for every support role rather than DPS. There's no real type C and D mods for support. They're just general ones that you can use if you want, like the sure footage for increased CC resistance and stuff like that. But in terms of Trinket loadout setup, we want to go ahead and use the tier 3 pet above Trinket. The All-Mat Trinket, you can go buy it from Dr. Fate if you haven't gotten the drop already. Then our henchman, I like to have in the 4th slot. This 4th slot is going to be flexible since we will be able to use our supply drop and orbital, swapping in and out with those. And we're going to also swap the Dead King Scepter and Philosopher's Stone respectively for them. Dead King Scepter for orbital strike, Philosopher's Stone for supply drop. Okay, just quick in, swap, hit the thing, swap back to it. Okay. Now, in terms of a little extra little swappables that we can have, some like Gotham City Emergency Signal right here. Some is Batman. If you're not doing pet based DPS, it's still fantastic. It does about 300,000 plus damage. Your pet based DPS does over 500,000. Okay. Now, another swap artifact that you can go ahead and throw into the mix is Mercy. When you are summoning your Trinket pet, your tier 3 pet here, that is a nice chunk of damage. That can range anywhere over 100,000 to 500,000, and even more depending on how many enemies are in the area. Now, this, you do have to be close for this one, so keep that in mind. Gemini, of course, we swap. It has been nerfed a bit, so keep that in mind. But it is still pretty usable and something that we can deal with quite well, especially since we are using a 5,000 power cost supercharge with the 16% damage of all the nearby players and the Apollo's gaze. So that is still good, still viable, definitely a good swap artifact, but just keep in mind, ain't using it, it's not as good as it used to be, and you do will have to take turns. So similar like Orbital Strike and like Ultimate Soldier back in the day, when you had that green field, everyone couldn't pop the Orbital Strike at the same time because then you need it for the next time. You know what I mean? So you had to coordinate, go, hey, I'm popping my Orbital first, you pop your second, you go third. You know what I mean? Same thing like to apply with supercharges. That's not always the most practical, since certain instances you want a lot of quick burst DPS, and you're kind of losing out with this. So I would highly recommend that you go ahead and just swap in Shop the Soul Cloak, man. It's gonna be better off. The 7% supercharge that you get back from it stacks with the head market, that's 12%, and it's gonna allow you to get overall more supercharges throughout the whole raid, the whole encounter, than like Gemini or even Quizlet would get you. Quizlet's another good one to go ahead swapping it out, but do be mindful with Quizlet. I recommend if you do swap it in, fight at least like 1 to 3 seconds first. Make sure Quizlet actually pops up first, then hit your supercharge, so you're able to actually proc the refractal beam of it. So keep that in mind. Other than that, you pretty much want to go ahead and turn to artifact set up for single target boss based loadout. You want to go ahead and use Venomous Dispenser for the most damage. If you are proccing a lot of supercharges back to back to back, go ahead and swap that out for Quizlet, and you'll just Quizlet will outdo Venomous Dispenser essentially. Okay. Strategy card and transformation card is fantastic for it as well. Now, I know that new emote sick, y'all. I know it is. In terms of our ally setup, you want to go ahead and use Crypto Best Boss single target ally, combat ally in the game. The second best is House Legend Boss if you need some alternative. But yeah, in terms of our actual support allies, go ahead and check out my video if you haven't already about what combinations of allies are best for DPS and what allies to pretty much use for DPS. Now, you want to go ahead and use Static Shock. He is brand new. Electric Overcharge. Whenever you pop that super, you can increase critical ability and attack chance. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. 5% there. Stack with the OMAT Trinket 5%. And if we're lucky enough to get Bad Mood Laughs, 7.5%. That is 17.5% additional, like I said before, additional crit chance that we got. As you see by our stats, we got about 118,000 plus precision, almost 160,000 might, 159,000 change might. We got a decent amount of health and power. And then our actual weapon DPS, critical ability chance, critical attack chance, critical attack damage, things of that nature, that is all going to stack on top. So add 17% to that, we're going to be critting like crazy, like a madman, and it's going to be absolutely insane, especially when you have Neon Venom boost to stack on, and it's going to be our supercharged choice for this build and loadout. That does increase 45% damage just across the board. That stacks with the supply drop, which is additional 20%. You know, you got your buff cola, you got your compound omega, that's 5% stats. You got your cookie, that's 2% damage there. Like, it's gonna be fantastic. Just stack all this stuff up and go along with it, y'all. And then we got Batman's Laughs. Batman's Laughs was pretty much the perfect ally for precision-based DPS. One, you get the stats. So if nothing else, you get the stat buff, 2.5 precision of precision, 5% might. That's going to help us out there. That's literally 1 point off, or a half a point off of just the Shazam combat ability. Mind you, Shazam, this is like 1 to 2% damage increase here, so keep that in mind. Taking that in consideration, 1 to 2% there is pretty much 1% damage increase here if we do get the stat buff. 35% power generation is going to help with our precision, since doing weapons expert focus and our stat tree that we'll get to in here in a sec is going to be kind of offset with the 35%. We have more power generation than if we even expect to in the first place. Plus the Frigger one, the 7.5 critical chance is absolutely fantastic. It's really what we're wanting, and the other ones are just good to have if we don't have it. And 10% health is going to help us with buff troll if it's proc. If not, then it's just still good for survivability. Well, yeah, if you want, I know some people do want more control over what buff is active at the moment. You could go ahead and replace Batman Who Laughs with Shazam here, but do keep in mind that you won't have anything going on in base, essentially, that only when you hit a combat ally, or only when you hit a supercharge for 10 seconds after that, or 30 seconds after the combat ally, is when you're getting these buffs. Okay, after that, you have no buff whatsoever at all. As well as the Batman Who Laughs here, where you always have a buff. Okay, you get your buff for 20 seconds, the cooldown's 30 seconds when it goes out. That's literally 10-second difference. You're not getting your combat ally that fast, and today's meta, you're not getting supercharges that much. Okay, you can probably proc your supercharge back to back a couple of times. After that, you're gonna run out. So if you are going to be proccing the spam supercharge like that, and you really just don't want to use Batman Who Laughs, you could use something like Emperor Aquaman with Seaside Restart, or even the Hear My Call just for all around general play. But I definitely highly recommend the Batman Who Laughs. Look at the draw. Now in terms of actual spec, weapon spec, you already know dual wield, spec it all out, weapon master here. We want flurry shot, so to do that, gotta go on the bow, spec all this out, get bow mastery, come back in dual wield, and you're able to spec that one into there. Do not get this combo as well. A lot of times it'll mess you up in your combos since it's a new combo available. So only want to use what we're gonna use. Okay. Super speed, if you have it, fantastic. Get your speed force, get your breakout masteries. If you don't have super speed, you have flight, acrobat, skimmy, whatever, still get your go fast and your breakout masteries. Especially get these if you are over 500 skill points, roughly 450 to 500 plus. It's a good time to get your breakout masteries. Okay. Now, like I said before, if I haven't already, actually, we will have super speed variation as well as a non-super speed variation of the loadouts. So if you want super speed, get Tornado Pool. Okay. And even Whirling Dervish. If you don't want super speed, or you don't have super speed, don't worry about it. You're good. Get your go fast, get your crits. I mean, not your crits. Your breakout master here, and you're good to go. If you're acrobatic, you can get that grapple line attack. That is pretty good there. So keep that in mind. But if you're flight, there's pretty much nothing for you really, unfortunately. Turns out iconic powers, robot sidekicks the way to go. Neo Venom boost and super strength are going to be your main three that you want to grab out of here. Super strength is very minimal increase of weapon damage, but it does help nonetheless. This is pretty purely min-maxing. You're not really going to see it too much. It's very minimal damage increase. But if you are trying to min-max, you are doing DPS competitions, stuff like that, super strength is the way to go, especially if for 500 skill points. Go ahead and grab super strength. In terms of stat points, we're going to focus weapons expert, minus 25% power generation. That could be offset with Batman Who Laughs, mind you, so it'll be good there. And for some of y'all that wonder, how do you stay on top of your power like that? I tried and I can't. Batman Who Laughs. Time your soda, time your supply drop. Look who else got their supply drop out, you know what I mean? And go from there. Especially if you don't have patrol. Plus you get the 10% weapon, total weapon damage there. Now in terms of priority for these stats, You pretty much gonna go right down the left hand column. That's your priority right there. Get your critical attack chance first, critical attack damage second. Dump everything precision. You have anything left, dump it in mind power. Now, if you already spec everything in precision, then you should have enough skill points, especially if you got like over 100 in the mind power. Then go ahead and get you 10 in health. If you don't, at least put 1 into health to get the just initial boost of it. And let's say if you're able to, if you're up here and you got 1 into health, 1 here, that's fine. Get your crits. Once you're able to fully spec out precision, dump like 5 into health. Then once you have at least over 100 into fully spec out precision, got over 100 in mind power, then get your 10 in health and stop there. You don't need any more health after that. It's not worth it till you get the 300 skill points spec in any of these trees, these tree nodes. After 300 skill points have been spec'd, each additional skill point after that gives you a substantial increase per skill point that pretty much 10 to 2, from 11 to 299 doesn't give you. They're pretty much scaled down tremendously. It's like diminishing returns. And once you get 300, then you get increased returns per skill point. So keep that in consideration, okay? Depending on where you're at. Now, in terms of actual loadout, you already kind of saw what we got rocking here. So sorry, a little bit of a hiccup there. You actually want to go ahead and use this here if you're super speed, that is. And this is going to be, especially if you are able to be a little bit in melee range of super speed. Melee range with super speed. My apologies, y'all. You want to go ahead and use bubble. It's going to do 3 ticks of damage. It's pretty much going to equal out to about 90 to 100k, roughly speaking, plus even, depending on what content you're in. But for the Spartan targets, it does about 30 plus thousand per hit. So that's pretty good there. Pressurized weapon buff for precision. Come on, you need to have weapon buff. Tornado pool is just a quick little burst of damage, really high damage, some of the highest damage, single target damage in the game. This one that you could use your grapple line attack from acrobatics if you don't have super speed, or you could go ahead and put some like Shark Frenzy on for more consistent damage. Technically, Depth Charge can do more damage than Shark Frenzy, but you have to make each part of Depth Charge. It has 4 hits. You have to make each hit crit to do more damage than Shark Frenzy does. Now, Shark Frenzy does not crit and Depth Charge does not crit, then Depth Charge will do more. But Shark Frenzy is a lot easier to crit since it is just one quick burst move that can crit pretty decently well. And Depth Charge, normally about 1 to 2 Depth Charges out of the 4 crit. So Shark Frenzy overall and practical damage is going to do more damage for you if you're not super speed, of course. Okay. Then, my apologies, y'all. Then you want to have Whirling Dervish. Mind you, if you don't have super speed, it's okay. Throw in Shark Frenzy, throw in Depth Charge. You're good to go. You're safe. Now, if you are like acrobatics, throw in Shark Frenzy, throw in that grapple line attack. Then you're good to go. Robot Sidekick, Neo, and a boost. Okay. Let me reset this back. Now, in terms of a rotation, you already know we're going to be using that flurry shot weapon mastery here with the tap our range button, and we're going to hold our range button, and we're pretty much going to be able to do this in 1 of 2 ways. Now, Tornado Pool is something that is very high damage, but it keeps you in animation lock for like an additional second after you use it. It allows you to do and utilize this dash attack combo when you tap melee right after. And what that looks like is pretty much this. So you see we're kind of like stuck in animation right now. If we do that and tap melee, additional damage there, you actually hit that 18,000. When it crits, it's more like 50,000 roughly on the Spartan targets at my current level. So, you know, content will boost that number up and things of that nature. But if you don't want to deal with that and being stuck in animation, then go ahead, use Shark Frenzy. It's going to be the most animation friendly one to use. Depth Charge does a slightly longer animation than Shark Frenzy does, so Shark Frenzy not only does more consistent damage, but also the shortest animation duration as well. Now, mind you, Pressurize and your Bubble Shield both can clip these animations, so you can definitely clip Tornado Pull with your Pressurize right there and continue on doing damage and whatnot. That is something to definitely take in consideration when you are using it. So Tornado Pull can be just well worth it overall to use still nonetheless, even if you're not using that tap melee dash attack ability or additive ability after Tornado Pull. But if you're going to be stuck in the animation, then it can reduce your overall DPS depending on how many times you're stuck in the animation for that parser duration. So keep that in mind. But in terms of actual rotation wise, you can do one or two things. Like I said, you can clip your, sorry, I don't want to do it quite yet on the actual character, just so we can get to the full rotation here in a sec a little bit quicker. But you can hit your burst move, whichever one you selected, with Pressurized here, then do open attack combo, burst move into bubble, weapon attack combo, whirling dervish, weapon attack combo, tornado pull, weapon attack combo, whirling dervish, weapon attack combo. Then by the time your Pressurized should be back, so burst move, weapon, clip it with the weapon buff, weapon combo. And essentially, what is that gonna look like? It's gonna look like this. So weapon combo, clip those two together, turn, bam, bam, and you're pretty much gonna alternate your burst move with that whirling dervish. You're gonna clip whirling dervish by tapping your range button there to get out of the animation, and then go ahead and go again with the tap range, then hold range. As you saw, we're doing like over 100K. That kind of divot right there could probably be from my nonsense. Now, if you want to go ahead and throw that move in too, you definitely can. I recommend you do that move only when you're not able to clip out of it. See, you're doing 112,000 there. This definitely ramp up if the strategist card does proc for you. As you see, we don't really have it proccing like that. So once strategy card hits, like I said, even when you're on the 5 target there, if you have strategy card and you're doing sparring targets, that's really how you get your numbers to hit in the ranges that you want them to. But in actual practicality, you don't really want all those counter strategy card numbers, just because you don't. But yeah, if you're in 5 target and you got strategy card that pretty much adds like 100K DPS per second, or anything that you're doing. Essentially, if strategy card is proccing on enough targets, that's essentially like 100,000 per second you're adding to your damage. So it is pretty strong in that regard, but it's not good for AoE adds. It burns too fast through it. For bosses, it's perfect for. But do keep in mind that's an extra like I would say like 40 to 60,000, depending on if it crits or not. And just taking the average of the crits too, probably like 40, 60,000 you'll get increased. So pretty much with that 112,000, that's gonna be well over 150,000 per second. With this particular rotation here, I've had that 150,000 per second damage pretty consistently. If you want, I can show you how it looks like Shark Frenzy as well. Let's just keep going here. Just show y'all a couple of numbers, especially the first couple of numbers. Mind you, this all, the first number is going to tell you how much damage it does, like as a base notion. And then after that, you can kind of see it's going to just ramp up more and more and more as you're already hitting 114,000. Mind you, the tornado pool is going to hit harder, but you got to take into consideration. See, I do believe we have strategy card proccing, and that's what that 60-some thousand in the background is. That's what I'm talking about. See, and that's where you'll get like that closer to 150 plus damage. Mind you, strategy card does run out, so you will have to reproc it as you're seeing there. I'm kind of butchering the rotation at this point, so I do apologize there. That's why I try to tell y'all sometimes when I'm talking and trying to make the video happen, the rotation isn't the best, so I don't always get the best display of, well, I ran out of power, of these loadouts and builds that I'm trying to give y'all. I try to make it the best possible, try to multitask the best possible, but bear with me, y'all. Keep that in mind. I'm not always the best at the rotation when I'm trying to multitask things here. Now, in terms of actual content, I'll smoke majority of y'all. You know what I mean? Pretty much all of y'all. But, yeah. Then I'll show you some depth chart as well, just so you get a nice general base case here. Like I said before, you pretty much clip everything as one way, or you can clip it back to back as the other way. Actually, we're kind of stuck in the animation a little bit longer with the depth charge. Definitely keep that in mind. 142,000. See, it can hit higher, but on average, you're just gonna hit lower overall, which kind of sucks. But it is what it is. It has pros and cons. Now, if you're noticing that short frenzy is definitely not critting very often, then definitely depth charge may be the way to go. Because if you're not going to crit, at least do more base damage, you know what I mean? You're really using Shark Frenzy over depth charge because it's easier to get it to crit, thus doing more overall total damage. But if you're able to get depth charge to crit, then hey, you're good there too. There was a strategy card for once. Oh man, I messed that up completely. That's all good though. But yeah, go ahead and try these builds out, man. This is what I've seen to be the absolute best of the best. Mind you, once again, how I give y'all the best of the best loadout. Take all the videos on YouTube for about like a year to 2 years back that are water precision loadouts. Try them all, test them all out, see which one is almost like a battle royale, see which one comes over on top. Okay, I also take the ones on any Discord chats, any websites that I can get a hold of, any people in game, anything that I create myself or just prior knowledge me using. I'll test out my previous loadouts from the previous years and see which one are the best and go from there. Now, based on all my testing, which took a lot, extensively vigorous testing, this is the best loadout for you. Okay, with its couple of variations depending on what you are: super speeding, acrobatics, flight, skimming, just depending all around what you are doing. Yeah, there's a few variations for you. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like this video, show support on it. Watch my ads, also helps me out majorly there. Drop a comment down below, any constructive criticism, any power you want me to do next, any builds you have to recommend to other people to try out. I have tried out some of the builds that some of y'all have gave to me in the past. Mind you, some of y'all will be like, oh, this build does more damage. Then I retest it and it does not do more damage. So I want to go ahead and preface that if it does do more damage, you think it does do more damage, drop your loadout and your build in the comment section. I will test it out, and if you are correct, hey, I have no problem being wrong. This is just based on my testing, my experience in testing this stuff on the sparring targets as well as in content. I have tested it in open world content like in Dakota City now, as well as in actual raid content and alert content. Okay, that's what I flock towards and how I test my numbers and get my parsers and things of that nature. Okay, so definitely take that all in consideration there for these videos. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, put that post notification bell turn it to all, set it to all, whatever you want to call it, so you are notified when I do post another video. I will be having the rest of the water loadout videos here coming real soon, as well as nature loadouts, electricity loadouts. But then we're going through all the time capsules, see which one is most valuable to open and what is the most valuable in today's current state of the game. I got a whole bunch of just random tips and tricks and good useful information for y'all to have. Like I just made the ally guide for DPS. So which allies should you be using as a DPS? The different combinations, especially with the introduction of poison ivy, introduction of static shock, and things of that nature. I want to put that video out. It's already up on the channel if you want to go check it out. But yeah, other than that, other than anything else at the top of my head. So without further ado, y'all be safe, y'all be easy, peace, and shalom.